All right, good evening, guys. It's Wednesday. I'm Dominic Izzo. This is Cop Talk Live, changing cop culture. I'm a retired police officer from up in the northwest suburb boy of Chicago. It's Wednesday night, and we do this live every Wednesday night. We do a live Q&A, debate-formed call-in podcast where we review police content and talk about changing cop culture. If you're new to the channel, welcome. We stream live on Rumble, YouTube, Twitter, X, whatever it is, Facebook, and I think, Instagram as well, too. And then we just started today a Telegram channel, which will be featuring more for you guys to wind up interacting with as well, because I know a lot of you guys like that. Some housekeeping. Do not forget, go and subscribe to coptalklive.org, coptalklive.org. You can read the article about how I made that chief no longer a friend of mine, or about George Floyd and how he changed the culture of law enforcement across the nation, whether or not you agree with it. Cop Talk Live, when you actually click on this page, it's going to ask you, hey, do you want to subscribe? Type your email address in. You're going to get information and notifications on police content to change the culture. Now, what the hell does that mean, we're changing the culture of law enforcement? It just means returning to the concept of professional warrior servants, men and women, and I am very much anti-female patrol officer for those who don't know, but still, I have no control of the hiring process of women, so I'm going to support them as best I can. And the concept is to demand that standards for law enforcement be held to the highest of any profession out there. I went to the academy in 2001, and I forget it, we tossed around that word all the time. We hold ourselves to a higher standard, and then you get out of the academy and we all get fat and stop shining our boots, and we milk a call. It's a rescue call. Instead of going 10-8 back in service, you're going to milk it for a while and just, you know what? Kill time, man, because you don't want to take the retail theft that the younger guy on duty could take. We cut corners, and I'm including myself in it. Somebody asked me the other day, and I get a lot of people who comment in my social media content, you're a cop hater. Why do you criticize and X, Y, and Z? And here's exactly why I criticize, is because I love the job. My own actions cost the job. I was forced to retire, and I cannot be the standard of cop that I should have been. So because I love the profession so much, and because a lot of you are really fucking it up out there with how your behavior is on social media, I'm going to be the older brother that comes in and slaps the shit out of you and says, hey, listen, or even if I got to be your dad, because I'm old enough to be half of your fathers out there, you guys get your shit together. You do not deserve to treat yourself with such disrespect when you wear that uniform, and the profession doesn't deserve it. And sure as shit, the citizens who entrust you to do the damn job don't deserve it. It's as simple as that. If you're also on the channel, listen, here are some future goals for Cop Talk Live, changing cop culture. Free education. It's always been my view that, if you're good at something, make a living off of it, but at the same time, serve the community. And I can't serve the community the way I want to anymore. I can't drive around in a squad car, answer calls, and put the bad guy in jail. Can't do that anymore. So the best thing I could do now is I could teach. It's as simple as that. The programs that I'm working on in the background with other people, it will not just be me. I want to educate both the public and the police. It's a damn shame. The fact that we have these First Amendment auditors who are going around and embarrassing the police, it blows me away. But what do we have all the time? It doesn't matter if it comes from firearms. It doesn't matter if it's First Amendment. It doesn't matter if it's traffic stops. What do we hear all the time? Well, it's training, and cops, they don't get the training they need. Fine, we'll do it for free. We'll do it for fucking free. You have no excuse. So I'm going to be putting together a program. There's other people that I want to be able to recruit to do this. I want to be able to pay for their time. Defensive tactics. I will be starting again in the Chicago area, teaching police defensive tactics. I will teach for free, but that means that Cop Talk Live needs to be funded by you. That being said, if you're watching live, hit the super chat. Show us some love. There's Cop Talk Live on PayPal as well too. Support us for what we're doing. This is the infancy stages, but we want to keep going forward. You want to buy ad space and have your police featured content or whatever you have featured, go ahead and DM me or send me a email to coptalklive911@gmail.com. We'll feature you in our daily newsletter, whatever, in our videos, whatever you want. The bottom line is, my goal is to get the police the training they need so there is no longer the bullshit lie or excuse, oh, we can't afford training. Well, we'll fucking give it to you. That's the direction we're going for this. 708-982-0974. 708-982-0974 is the call-in number for a little bit. If you have something you want to say, shoot a text. I will call you in order. I want to make this acknowledgement really quickly here because I saw a great post today. I have to give him... I've mentioned Officer Tommy Norman quite a bit. It was back in the day of law enforcement. When social media was being a thing over here, it was mainly Facebook. It was Officer Tommy Norman, Mike the Cop, Officer Daniels, Officer Dion Joseph is still, patrolling Skid Row, myself, Brian Woodard, just a few of us who were doing police content online. And Tommy Norman was one of the biggest ones out there. And I've said a million times, he's the standard, the standard for community service when it comes down to law enforcement across the board. That man should have his own academy nationwide. But he was just named U.S. citizen, or the U.S. Veterans Hall of Fame first citizen of the year. And that's on, you can go check out T Norman 23 on Instagram. And he just got this. This was great. And it's Officer Tommy Norman has been named U.S. Veterans Halls of Fame's first citizen of the year. That man deserves it. It's absolutely fantastic, and I support him as well too. All right, let's get into this. We had a lot of you guys have been sending me videos. I got one more housekeeping thing. There's my number on the bottom of the screen, 708-982-0974. I can't believe this shit. I put up a video the other day after I talked about the 4 Harris County sheriff's deputies who committed suicide. And I got some information on it. I heard some background information. And I went out there and I said that I believe that it's the pressures from command staff that really puts cops in a position to commit suicide. If you look at all the January 6th cops, I think 5 police officers died. And I think several of them committed suicide. I'm blaming command staff. There's no question. I said it on a news interview years ago when they asked me about it. We have so many officers killing themselves after this January 6th. What is it? And my first thought was, you got command staff coming up saying, did you let them in? Well, we're gonna put you in jail now. And they wound up offing themselves. That was and I didn't do any research into it. That's my assumption. But my phone, my messages on Instagram, Facebook, email have been blowing up. And if I have not gotten back to you yet, A, I'm working on it. B, you can keep blowing me up until you hear from me. I've found messages in my spam folder. I have gotten a ton of emails, text messages, phone calls. I've talked to several of you. And on a personal note, it's the wrong kind of vindication that I have, or that I got, right? It's still on a daily basis, you get my brethren in blue who like to remain anonymous in the background. Hey, didn't you get fired? And I talk all the time about what cost me my job. And I put it up yesterday on my Instagram and Facebook. It was a demand letter of resignation to my chief of police. I submitted it on behalf of the officers in my department because I was union president. Not one of them had the fucking balls to sign it. I slid it under his door. Several hours later, that shift, I was suspended, and then I was fired 3 weeks later for text messaging photographs. But that being said, and even after being vindicated and winning a lawsuit and being fully reinstated and then retiring, I could not believe after all the years of me saying command staff is horrible and then hearing, the whiny bitches who are still in uniform go, well, you're mad because you're fired and it's got command staff. And well, of course I'm mad. Dumb fuck. Of course I'm mad. But the amount of guys who are active right now and who have called me or I've spoken to, and gals, and we've talked about how horrible their command staff treats them, how they get the target on their back, and how the comments on the videos and the posts from seasoned, retired, active cops who absolutely acknowledge how horrible command staff is. And I had one retired chief say that that everything I said was completely inaccurate. Go figure. But it's the wrong kind of vindication, but it is vindicating. And if you guys need anyone to talk to, 708-982-0974. If you do not want to talk to me, but you need to talk to somebody. Get a hold of me. Say, hey, listen, I don't want to talk to you. I can't stand you. But who can you connect me with? And I will reach out to other people that I know who have actually offered, and I will give you their contact information, and you can talk to them. So if you're struggling with your department, command staff is the root of all evil in law enforcement. There is something in the stars, bars, stripes, clovers, blue diamonds, and rainbows that they get where all of a sudden it's like they forget where they came from. They're more focused on keeping their job. Could be because they're no longer in a union. Could be because now they're in a position because they take the beatings from their wives and their little bastard and bitch kids at home, and now they could finally take it out on somebody who's a subordinate to them. Maybe that's what they do. I don't know. I think there is a problem with law enforcement, and I'm here to listen to your gripes and conversations. I want to acknowledge the chat room really quick over on all stuff over here. Sarah, it's good to see you. Freeman Keys. Let's see. I appreciate it. Officer Tater Hater, thank you for hitting that the super chat. I appreciate it. Did I hear old Officer Tatum got shunned by the cops who were supposed to be protecting at the rally? No, that's his own thing. SS Pippin, how are you? Lobster Lover, what's going on? First Best Gigi, how are you? Sybil, Chris Garlitz, what's going on? What made you have to retire early? If you can go look at one of the pinned videos on my content, I pissed off the wrong people in my department. Dude Minwersher, how are you? Rit Watkins, Ray, Bev. It's good to see all you guys. Sailor Outlaw George, whatever it is. I'm sorry about that. I do a Q&A during the day before a live show, and I put a post up to see if anybody has any questions about law enforcement. I'm going to answer those. We're going to watch a video on a shooting, and then we're going to go from there. All right, here's some questions. Over Notorious 218 over on Instagram asks, something you wish you would have known your first year as a cop. It's a dual-sided mirror on that one. Number one, it's a business like anything else, and it shouldn't be. I went in thinking it was an idealistic calling. It's not a calling. It's not a calling. It is absolutely a profession that you have to raise yourself to. It's like you're not this supreme person that is called to go serve others. No, you have to actually take a personal inventory and ask yourself, do I have the mental fortitude to put my emotions to the side and serve other people? I wish that I had not gotten bitter and jaded with my first department. I was actually just talking to my former FTO, who's a chief, now the chief of the department I was first with, and he's retiring, I think, this week. And I said, I have to get your story because you trained me, you trained several others, and he had 4 years on, senior to me, and you lasted with the same obstacles, the same command staff, the same pressures, the same garbage. You were able to keep your mouth shut, do your job, power through, and climb all the way to the first department. He's retiring as chief in a fantastic, the guys I worked with in my first department, awesome guys. I got to get your story. And I wish I would have learned to shut my mouth and play the game a little bit more, because if I had seen the long game and said, hey, you got to navigate this to get the gold bars and stripes and make the change later on, I think I would have been better off. But I didn't have that vision. I never wanted to be a sergeant. I wanted to do the job, patrol. I never wanted to be in charge of others. But maybe if I had seen myself in a little bit more responsible role of leadership and made that my goal, I would have taken myself more seriously. I would have taken the profession more seriously. And I would have played the politics within what was lawfully necessary, not broken any rules or laws in advance. So I wish I learned I'd play the game a little bit better. As you can tell, I do not play the game very well at all. Bayef Oblivion, when asked for ID for a non-incident, can officers add notes into someone's information? I don't know. I do not know if police now, their system has a direct link going into the Illinois State Police drivers. There's CAD, there's leads, alerts. Yeah, we were able to tag back when I was on. We were able to tag stuff onto the driver's license, or it was what CAD notes. So I don't have an answer to that question. I no longer have that behind the scenes look to it. Canyon Racing 123. Why does command lose their way so quickly? Do you believe it's in their money and power? No, I believe exactly what you said it is, or what I said was earlier. I used to joke around all the time and say, I think when you go to staff and command school, the cops, the sergeants go away for 2 months or something for staff and command school. I think there's a portion on it taught how to fuck with patrol officers, get them to resign. If you look, the first agency I worked for I think we had 35 sworn, and it wouldn't be like this 20-year window and all 35 of them are going to wind up, retiring with a pension. If you really want to check out interesting numbers, find out legitimately how many cops an agency has sworn and how many spend 20 years there and collect their pension. And then ask yourself, with the number so low, why is that? It's astonishing. People do not, I always love it too. People criticize my years of service, the fact that I didn't do 20 years. Okay. Does it make me any less of a police officer? Because the amount of people who do not last to 20 years is a shit ton of cops. I think command staff, honestly, they get that bump in pay, bump in responsibility. They're off the street. They've got a shit ton of paperwork. And, some of them got all of a sudden, you're going to be in charge of inventory for the supply closet. And they hate their fucking lives. They get sent to a different shift. Their wives become nags. Their kids are out of control. Their wives don't submit to them the way that, probably a male should, because they don't lead at home. Their wives probably wear the pants. And they come to work and they shit over the people they can. The patrol officers. I honestly think that's my working theory, and I think I'm dead right with it. And then I can't mixers the first, whatever. Do officers stay silent about misconduct? Do officers that stay silent about misconduct share guilt for their future abuses? I got to read this one more time. Do officers that stay silent about misconduct share the guilt for future abuses by their peers, and why? I don't know. I never stayed silent about shit, and it cost me my job. I don't really talk to anybody I worked with. I don't. And the only probably 2 guys I talked to, one left the department before everything happened, and the other one had my back. And everybody else, you'll learn it firsthand. You can ask any other cop out there. When you are under discipline or under fire, your brethren in blue, they're nowhere to be found. They don't. So I don't know. I saw a great post yesterday by some of the guys from the Anti-Hero podcast. And I sadly, I can't remember I don't know what his name was, but he's a firefighter. And he made this comment that said that he talked about that he doesn't have respect for people who do the job for 20 years, then retire, then blow the whistle. And it blows me away. It's like, yeah, that's 100% right. Say what's wrong while you're there and pay the price. And a lot of you guys, I actually had two interesting conversations during the week about guys who are like, listen, do I do this? Do I do this? Do I do this? And my first thing was, dude, shut your mouth. You're in a great position. You are still a cop and you're bitching. Climb the ladder, play the game, become invaluable, be the best dressed, most educated, fittest, most respectful community service officer who's tactical on the job. That the department, they'll never appreciate you. But be it for yourself, climb the ladder so that you can look at the end of your career and when I gave everything, as long as your family doesn't sacrifice, and you can hold your head high leaving. I held my high leaving because I went after the shit that needed gone after. And yeah, my head was on the chopping block. But as far as everybody else goes, I don't know. I honestly think that anybody who sees, I think a lot of cops are pussies because they know, and I heard this from so many guys too, they had internal investigations done and all their brethren, yeah, we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that. And then when it came time for them to do this and that, they did nothing. It happens everywhere. So the big talk of tough cops, it really doesn't exist when it comes down to keeping their job. You saw it during the lockdown. How many police officers across our nation, they bowed to the paycheck and they followed I've said it so many times on podcasts, on interviews. We would not have had a lockdown between 2020, 2021 or whatever it was and 2022, 2023. We wouldn't have had it if cops had stood up and said, we are not obeying this. We're not following this orders. You had Ian Smith, who I believe he was arrested, his business shut down by a governor because you had cops who were willing to enforce that. I just spoke to her on the phone today, Patriot Barbie, Lindsey Graham. What happened to her? She was arrested, salon owner, right? It'd be by cops. the pandemic showed us the true colors of cops. They're not your blue line warriors. They're not. We need to get them back to that. We need to get them back to remember, yeah, I swore an oath to the Constitution. I do work for the citizens, and even the shittiest human beings in the planet, like George Floyd, who everybody can't fucking stand, still deserves due process because that's the oath I swore to. And I'm going to have to curb my humanity just a little bit, and at the same time, it will raise my humanity and my emotions by doing the job that I swore to, because nobody else can, only me. You saw their allegiance. You saw where they lied, kicking people out of churches, out of bars. When I was doing the Daily Show with Ashley was walking on a beach in Santa Cruz, and the cops out there were like, you don't have a mask. And she's like, are you kidding me? So we saw the true nature of police officers. Today, and this is a generalization, and to my knowledge, the only cop, Greg Anderson, was the only cop who ever stood up for anything, and it cost him everything. There may have been others, I'm sure, but in the generalization, because all cops eat this shit, they earn this during the lockdowns. They're the ones that could have stopped the lockdowns if they had just said collectively, this is unconstitutional. No, we're not doing it. But they didn't. They didn't. So it is what it is. And that falls under sheriffs. That falls under it falls under the elected. It is how it is. All right, we need to take a look at this really quickly. This is going to be from the New York Post. I'm reading this article. Autistic teen fighting for his life, his leg amputated after being shot 9 times by Idaho police. An autistic teenager is fighting for his life after Idaho police shot him a whopping, I can tell which side this is leaning, 9 times, prompting nationwide community outrage and protests, according to authorities and reports. Police were responding to a call about a physical disturbance at the 17-year-old. So he's 17. I love it. I love it, man. One more year, the guy's an adult. He's still a minor, but he's an adult, right? Unbelievable. It's just the semantics of how we use. I put the video up the other day. It's going viral on my Facebook about the New Jersey cops arresting, or Newark cops, I believe, arresting black little 5, 7, 8-year-old for stealing a bag of chips. And everyone's like, he's a baby, until he breaks into your house. And I guess he stole a bike earlier that day. But it really is convenient when the public wants to fucking make the age of somebody for their uses. This is old enough to know what he's doing. Autistic. Everybody's on the spectrum today. Your police are not mental health experts. Police were responding to a call about a physical disturbance at the 17-year-old's family's home in Ponticello at 5:25 p.m. At 17:25 hours on Saturday, when the multiple shots were fired. The Ponticello Police Department said in a press release. Cops had received a report of 2 males, one of which was intoxicated in possession of a knife, and a female involved in an altercation. Eyewitness video showed the boy, whose name has not been, he's a teen. What is he, a boy? Is he a teen? You scumbag fucking media. Really, I swear to God, the media really needs to be just lined up and shot. They do. We don't need the media anymore. It's you guys fan these flames and, we're not taking responsibility. You're all scum. Both conservative and liberal media. You're all fucking scum. The eyewitness shows the video of the teenage 17-year-old, whose name has not been yet released, rolling on the ground and waving what police say was a knife at a woman believed to be his mother. The video shows poor police officers running up to the fence, quickly drawing their weapons while shouting, "Get on the ground," to the teenager. After the teen stood up, police fired the shots, footage shows. Quote, "He was having a really bad day with mental issues, but he wasn't chasing anybody, and everybody could easily get out of the reach of his knife," neighbor Brad Andrews told the outlet. Well, then you go do the job, Brad. Go fucking fill out an application. Go do that job, my man. A woman identified herself as the aunt's teen also told the station that the autistic boy has an impairment and can barely walk. Again, these are not issues the police department needs to be fucking burdened with. I do not believe in today's current state of affairs in de-escalation. It's a failed failed responsibility you have placed on police. You want to start spending money wisely? Start inventing a fucking Star Trek phaser that works 100% and you can stun people. Put your money into that and stop all the other bullshit training that cops don't need. The injuries from the shooting were so severe that the teen's leg was amputated and he remains in critical condition. Good, he won't be able to chase people around with a knife anymore. Life-saving measures were immediately performed on the boy, authorities say. The shooting has prompted local outrage, with several community members lining up outside of the Ponticello Police Department to protest the actions that the police said. I can't imagine anyone living in this community trusting the police after this. Stop doing the job. Stop responding. You know what? And here's the deal. Is it a tragedy that he lost his leg? Of course it is. Would it have been a tragedy if something else happened? Of course it would have. But you know, I don't know what you people need to learn before hey, we have a shitty Canada police, and I haven't seen the video yet. We're going to watch the video together. But based on what this is, shut the fuck up. You guys don't know what police tactics are. This is why the goal of Cop Talk Live, Changing Cop Culture, is to educate the dumb public through these videos, through on-site training, through literature. I don't care what it is. We have to come up to the public and say, sit fucking down, Shirley. You are out of your element on this one. Did he have a knife? Well, yes. Was he attacking people? Yes. Then he deserved to be shot till the threat was eliminated. Well done, police. Unless I see something that kind of really turns my stomach in the video, case closed. I'm fine. You called the police. People were fighting. Someone had a knife. They showed up to see a 17-year-old who probably wasn't a boy, gave commands. You didn't obey commands. They used the force necessary to terminate life-threatening behavior. What are we talking about? I'm waiting to see the video. Maybe it's going to make me go, oh, damn, I need to eat the shit sandwich live on air. Let's check that out. Then again, they were called to help with a minor having a mental health episode in front of his yard. They put him on death's door. He's in the hospital fighting for his life. One protester, Dylan Harrison, said, Dylan, go home, get pegged by your boyfriend, and shut the fuck up. Cops have asked for the public's patience. Now, you know what? This is where you police chiefs, I can't stand. Stop asking for the public's patience and start saying, we'll get you all the information, and then if you want to come and do a training day with us, we'll explain to you exactly how this works. Hell, police departments, hire me, and I will come up and I will shut these fucking mobs up for you. It's absolutely ridiculous in the context. Let's look at this video together. It's from the Associated Press, and we'll have a conversation about it. All right. Couple different things that you have to understand is there's this thing called elements of the crime, and intent is a big one. You know, you go to the grocery store and you have an entire cart of groceries, and it's got the dual, the flooring on the cart. And as you walk out the door, somebody stops you and says, sir, you didn't scan your gallon of milk. We have to call the police and have you arrested. It's like, what? I just paid for $400 worth of groceries and I forgot to look at the gallon of milk. That's intent, right? You probably didn't intend. You forgot to put the gallon of milk in the bottom there, and that's it. If you took the gallon of milk and you put it over the sensor and you went beep, and then you put it in a bag and you trying to conceal it, and then you walked out the door. Yeah, I don't care if you paid $400. You should be arrested for that $2 gallon of milk, right? That's intent. You had intent behind it. You can see, again, from the beginning of this, on the bottom here, apparently the knife is in his left hand. He's on the ground, kind of propped up. 17 years old. 17 years old is a knife in the hands of a 10-year-old is extremely dangerous. And for those of you wondering my level of expertise, yes, you can go ahead and Google it. I was honored for disarming a person who stuck a knife in my face, and the only reason I did not shoot him was because I didn't have the distance to back up and draw my pistol. I bumped into a bearing wall, and I didn't have any time, and I just, bounced his head off the counter instead. That being said, knives are more dangerous than guns. They just are, period. And it just, they are multi-directional, and they're not required to be reloaded. So if you look, he swipes with her with the left hand when she goes up on him. Goes a swiper.
backyard.
You said a red truck and a black Jeep, is that what you said?
Red.
All right, so I don't, clearly, if the police are going to be responding to this, and we don't know, I didn't hear the 911 tapes. We didn't hear, hey, yeah, just to let you know, my brother, he's autistic. He's got a knife, and he's wailing it around. He's really not a danger, but you didn't hear that. Or we hear, oh my God, send the police. We got two people fighting out in the front lawn. They're drunk and they have knives. We don't know what information the dispatchers were given to relay to the police. So you want to be outraged, fucking put the outrage, find out where the outrage needs to stem from. Because if the cops showed up and made this kid's leg look like an aerated lawn, well, maybe it's because that's the information they were given. And when they pulled up, it matched the information that they were given. Because a lot of times it doesn't match. You get like, oh my God, we got two guys drunk in the front lawn fighting. You show up and it's two guys making out because they secretly had crushes on themselves forever. And the neighbor had no idea what was going on. Okay? So we can't blame the cops solely for this, even though you always want to shit on the cops while doing your own research.
Red truck, red Jeep.
Okay. So he's on the phone. That's the tone of this guy. So he's clearly not hysterical, but you probably had multiple callers on this, but let's hear him again.
Red Jeep.
Red Jeep.
Okay, he's calm.
You said a red truck and a black Jeep, is that what you said?
Red truck, red Jeep.
Red Jeep.
And there's a...
I just want to make sure that you look like they're fighting the right people.
Oh, yep, they're here.
And yes, you're going to draw your firearm. It's a deadly force scenario. Subject with a knife, fighting with people out front. So hopefully somebody gets out with a long gun on this one, but you are drawing your firearms.
Yep, I'm watching from out there. Yep, they're all there. Okay, bye.
Long gun. Watch that again. All right, here we go. Let's watch this again.
I'm watching from out there.
You did see a long gun.
Yep, they're all there. Okay, bye.
I'm fine with that shooting. It's a lawful shoot. It's a justified shoot. Here's my reasonings why. And I'll critique my reasonings as well too. Number one, he wasn't responding with verbal commands. Number two, on top of that, number one is they had information. A subject was fighting with others on a knife, or fighting with others in front with a knife. They observed that when they got there. Subject with a knife. He was on the lawn in the area where the dispatchers had that information relayed to. They observed the knife. Okay, the other people were in the vicinity of this man with a knife. It doesn't take the whole oh God, what was his name? Oh man, for all you Bruce Lee fans, you're going to wind up hating me for this one, even though I really don't care. Dan Inosanto. The Dan Inosanto 21-foot rule is a lie. You can close that gap at 100 feet. 100 feet. And you have to look at it this way too. If the police, and I hope you guys could see this. So if in this position, the police are here, they have a barrier in front of, between them and the guy. But the barrier, again, I don't know the quality of this chain link fence. I don't want a cop to sit there and shake it and go, hey, is it going to open up as he runs through? I'm not going to take that risk. Not to mention the fact, when you're in this position, tunnel vision, you've got auditory exclusion, and I'm not going to want the cops to back up, especially in the street. They're going to be stepping off of a curb, gravel, while somebody is advancing towards them with a knife. That barrier will buy you seconds. And seconds is not that long a time. Where the 21-foot rule is very interesting is, let's say for argument's sake, this is where he is, this is where the cops is, and this is, let's just say it takes him, they back up, and it's 21 foot. Now they just gained 21 feet between the subject with the knife and them. Well, what about this person back here? That's that's within 5 feet. So who does the 21-foot rule apply to when the cop's job is to keep the peace and maintain order in a free society? And they have to protect property. Well, they have to protect property, but definitely protect life, right? So when it comes down to it, here's why the shooting is fine with me. It would take the blink of an eye for this 17-year-old to, instead of charging at police, to turn and start charging at someone else. Then it would be a lawful shoot. That would fall under the Tennessee versus Garner, fleeing felon to a degree, because he's running at somebody else with this, and they can shoot him as he's fleeing. But then you'd get the people, they shot him in the back 17 times. This is why de-escalation is garbage. It needs to go. This was a lawful shoot. This was a justified shoot. I have no problem with this shoot. I'm not going to put anyone's life in the harm's way. When his family with a knife, you should be going on there kicking him in the head. If you could do that. Oh, look, little Timmy, who's got autism that we're going to blame on everything, he's got the knife again. Go stomp on Timmy's head until you rattle his brains correct, maybe. I don't give a shit if he's mentally retarded. I don't give a shit if he's Hawkins, Stephen Hawkins in a wheelchair moving towards you with a knife. Terminate life-threatening behavior, and that's what the cops did on this. I do not have any issues with this shooting. 708-982-0974. 708-982-0974. I think I got. We'll look at. Okay, we'll look at this. Chanel. Oh, Chanel. Okay. His name is Victor. Got it. And you also say, Chanel says, the neighbor didn't know he was autistic. They were told he was intoxicated and trying to stab people. It's hindsight. You don't need to know anything after. I don't care if he's autistic. Can the kid hold a fucking knife? Well, then he can get shot by bullets as well, too. Let me see if anybody else has anything to say about this. Jay, this is from an earlier comment. JGC267, the numbers have gone down due greatly to the current work ethic of younger officers. I cannot disagree with you on that. Over in the chat, let me see. Let me come down. I want to start acknowledging you guys more over in the chat room. I talked to Sergeant Eric from Two Cops, One Donut. He's like, dude, you're never in the comment section. I'm like, I know, man. But you can call in anytime you want. Make sure you follow Two Cops, One Donut. Make sure you go subscribe to Copville as well on YouTube. They're growing their YouTube channel, and we need to do that. Let me see. Anything else says that? Jason, come shoot with me. Says we just spoke of the bite. Okay, thanks for you're welcome. Appreciate it. Thanks for checking us out here. Yeah, John Veach, the most common weapon in prison is knives. Prison guards are not allowed to shoot prisoners. Enough said. You can't have. You know what they should do, though? John, they should be able to fucking pick up their nearest weapon and bash them in the head. So that's why correctional officers, prison guards, I think, are superior to cops, because they're not afforded the same weaponry as police officers. And maybe if they had, what do you call it? A Tuller drill. Jason, I don't know what that is. Maybe they had those more training in the jails. We have better cops on the street. Ryan Hollinger, but he was fenced in the yard. Ryan, do you want to take the time to determine how strong of a latch that is on the fence? Do you want to take that time? If you want to, I would love to replay these same scenarios, go in this same yard, and let's role play again and see what you do in this action, in this motion. Also, you guys need to go to Force Science Institute. They show all the biological factors that happens to police when they shoot. Like time stands still and time speeds up and auditory exclusion and friggin' tunnel vision. And there was a shooting that happened not too long ago that has people outraged because a guy had a BB gun under his shirt and pulled it out and dropped it. And I said it's a lawful shoot because the cop on scene shot, and now he's being criminally prosecuted. Well, the problem is the Force Science Institute has talked about information that the time in which the human eye sees a threat, draws their pistol, starts to fire rounds down range, and then sees that it is no longer a threat, there's a delay in the response system. That's why we have tail lights that actually light up, so you can get that information to your eyes faster than go to the brake. Because if you just saw an object getting bigger and you're like, oh, I'm going to rear-end this, you wouldn't react in time. So the problem is the same thing. And when people are like with the Mike Brown shooting, or was it Mike Brown shooting? He got shot in the back. He was turning away. That's because the rounds were still going down ranges from the perception of the officer who shot him as he was turning. So you can't. You need to learn. You need to sit there and read up more on the studies that agencies and companies have done that show that the biology of the human being and the brain, the information they perceive, it's not in real time the way that you think it is. No one can ever hop a 4-foot fence or turn on his family. Crash. Okay, Crash, whatever you say. Ken F. The lady had him relatively tamed without deadly force. So then the police could just walk away. Fine. Then you know what? Let's get rid of the cops. Shouldn't even be there then. What do we have? Oh, somebody with a knife? Okay. No, that's fine. When little Victor goes up and he decides to dice the rest of the family up, fuck you guys. You guys are all on your own. I'm supporting this shoot. It's a good shooting. This shooting is BS. You couldn't even stab the family. He was so drunk. Okay, Ryan. Steve, I bet nobody in that neighborhood will ever call again. Steve, they all need to go to your house. You love the police. Let's see. A lot of you guys are disagreeing with me on that. That's fine. 708-982-0974. 708-982-0974. If you guys have the stones to call in and you could plead your case, you always know you got the airtime to talk about anything you want. I don't agree with this. I don't agree with you guys. I like the shooting. It was a fair, justified shooting. I'm fine with it. Traveling Our Dreams, this perfect shooting would get a cop arrested in many cities. This was a good shoot, but cops are afraid to protect themselves anymore. That's from Traveling Our Dreams. That's correct. OG Dylan 101, good shoot on cops' behalf with the limited information and an escalating situation. They made the best decision. Good work on the cops' behalf. I agree. I don't want to give cops any more time to... So what should we do? Hey, who's got the pepper spray? I have been faced with some. I called the first phone call I made after I disarmed the guy with a knife. I had a bad adrenaline dump. It was horrible. I was in my squad car. I was shaking. I was angry. I was angry that the guy put me in that position to have to use force on him, all this shit. And I'm in my squad car, and I called Paul Ingram. Paul Ingram is he's a Pakiti Tertia Kali martial arts expert, and he's probably the best knife fighter in the United States, in my opinion. Paul Ingram, and I've done knife training with him, and I've had him on several videos on our martial arts YouTube channel. And I called Paul, and I just got into a knife scenario, and I'm like, I can't describe what happened with time. It stood still and it sped up at the same time. In the instance that the happening, the guy literally sat there. I went into his home because he was crying. He was a guy in his late 50s, and he was upset about his girlfriend dumping him, and he wanted to talk to police. It was a bad day, mental health subject. So I called my partner off because I had been in that house several times. I'm like, don't worry, I got it. I'll go down there. I walked in the kitchen because he was outside. He's like, he met me on the front porch. And I go, what's going on today? Let's go talk inside. So I followed him inside, and we went straight inside, and the kitchen was immediately off to the right. And it had a little 4-foot wall that was also 4 feet high. So 4 foot long, 4 feet high. It was a divider for the hallway into the kitchen. So it formed a faux doorway. And I stood and I was leaning up against it. I walked right in and I leaned just up against it. He went to the counter. It was all one motion. Went to the counter, turned at me, and then put the knife. It was a paring knife. It was only like a 3-inch paring knife. And he goes right to my face with it. And that was it. I was like, I can't believe how clear that thing was huge coming at my face. But it was also fast, and everything slowed down so quickly too. It's like, damn, why did I have so time? I know I'm fast. I've been doing Wing Chun since 1996. My hands are blinding speed, but I'm not that fast. Well, what the hell was it? So the time in a deadly force scenario is insane. It's so I support these cops. I do not want them going, hey, we got a barrier here. Hey, do you want to, John, go test and see if it's going to hold this kid. Oh, he's a kid. Oh, he's 17. Hey, get your ID. Let's verify your ID. Oh, you're autistic. You're not drunk. Excellent. Use of force based off Graham v. Connor heavily relies on the information the officers had at the time. And the information the officers had at the time was this guy was fighting with people. According to the caller, he was intoxicated. He had a knife, and and we saw the caller would have said, yeah, you saw him swiping into people. They're going to be updating the cops as they show up on scene. What the fuck more do you want? You want the totality of the circumstances said, combative subject, armed with a knife, male, intoxicated. Based off of what they observed, it fit all of the criteria to use force. That's the information they had at the time. What do you want them to do? Stop and set up a command center and go, okay, hey, hit the pause button, and we're going to make sure that this chain link fence. Okay, it's okay. Look at that house. Guarantee that chain link fence is probably 40 years old and has fallen off at the posts. And some of you guys don't make sense when you talk about stuff. 708-982-0974. 708-982-0974. Fremont Keys, Von Klein is brilliant, man. He is the guy behind Force Science Institute. Yeah. Why can't Ryan Holzinger, dude? Thank you. Why can't cops use trank guns? Yeah, I don't know, man. Ben, thank you. Oh my God, Ben. Ben gets the comment of the day. See, Ben, actually, I would love to, Ben Mulkey, I would love to read your comment, but it would mean so much more if you decided to call in 708-982-0974 and repeat it. I'm going to give you, because we have a 25-second delay, I'm going to give you like a minute before I read your comment to see if you do call, because, man, I can't believe you actually just said that. Guys, don't forget to check out Cop Talk Live, Changing Cop Culture. Sacramento Sheriff's Office just put out that they will not respond to anyone with mental health issues or suicidal tendencies. I'm fine with that. It's not, because then it's completely subjective. Yeah. Oh, here we go. Hang on, let's see. Yeah, you're live. What's going on? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, is this Ben?
Yeah, it's Ben.
Ben, would you repeat online what you just said in the comment section, please?
I believe the primary responsible party is the caregiver. If you have somebody who is that autistic and who requires supervision, why was he allowed access to a knife, and why was he unsupervised?
Hang on. I'm sorry, this is delayed. Oh man, I can't believe I didn't have this keyed up for you. Yeah. Thank you for making sense on today's show. Isn't it amazing? Nobody wants to take any responsibility. Why the caregiver should have done. I have a cousin who is, I don't know what her condition is. It's not autistic, and it's not what we would say mentally retarded. But, she's like 4 years older than me. So she's in her 50s, and she requires primary care her whole life. And it's like, it is the responsibility of the people who know to deal with it. You know what? I'm just going to say, I'm so tired of being politically correct. Anybody hear of anything called retard strength? You get, what the fuck are we just want to glance over this and act like every person with a disability is not dangerous? Well, you don't understand autism. Exactly my point. That's exactly the point. No police officer should have to sit there and make a life-changing decision based on information that is subjective to another human being that would not fit the totality of the circumstances. Bottom line, if you can't tell off the bat, or if that isn't an immediate way to solve this problem, deadly force has to be used. So do you agree that the shooting was, what are your thoughts on the shooting?
I think the shooting's justified. I don't think the cops have any responsibility. They have no control over the information they were given. Given the totality of the circumstances, they acted appropriately with appropriate level of force. They protected that community. I hope the community can recognize that.
Yeah, that's it is what it is. Are you in law enforcement at all, or no?
I'm currently, I wouldn't call myself a real cop. I work for DOA and Navy. I'm a Navy cop.
It's still our military. Wow. No,
I'm civilian. I'm buying back my military time. we do mostly force protection, but we get domestics and stuff like that. But it's just protecting military installations. So.
Well, I thank you. I appreciate the call and I appreciate the common sense.
Absolutely, brother.
Thanks. 708-982-0974, 708-982-0974. JGC276 says mental health issues trigger and de-escalation techniques. What are your thoughts on those? I do not, with the current quality in Canada of cop on the street, they can't de-escalate. They're too busy on, doing get ready for work with me, or here's my lipstick, and this is the energy drink I love drinking in my squad car, and this is the skit I'm going to do. They can't. They're children. They have no life experience. The biggest problem, if you have to look at it this way, I'm 50. I'm 50 years old, and I had to go through this process when I was a much younger man of asking out females to their faces and getting rejected. And dealing and learning what the consequences of, well, I didn't die on that one, so I guess I'm going to level up. What do we have today? Today, guys, hey, are you up? What are you doing? You want to get together? And they don't have the social, physical, verbal, nonverbal cues that they have to deal and process with, right? You have the pandemic, which showed us flat out that kids were losing, what do you call it? Their social IQ, social cues because of the masks, and they weren't able to read the facial expressions from people. So if you say an off-color joke or whatever, number one, you can't bust anybody's balls anymore. So then it's like, all right, how do we interact as human beings without joking, learning what to say, when to say? So how do I expect a bunch of 20-something-year-olds who have no social experience whatsoever to de-escalate? You can't. They literally do not have the ability. So I do not support de-escalating for cops that at all. This is because now these officers can get sued for anything wrong that happens during the incident. They can go after your house. Yeah. Okay, I got you on that one. All right, let's see. 708-982-0974, 708-982-0974. Free man keys. Tom, you should check out Vin Climb. He was on the Two Cops, One Donut show with Eric and the boys. He's fascinating. Also need you back on their show. They don't need me. Trust me. They don't need me. They're good. All right, let me look and see what else we got. Guys, don't forget to check out Cop Talk Live, Changing Cop Culture. It's coptalklive.org. We are live every Wednesday night. Let's see. Hang on. 661. I'm giving you a call.
Hello?
Hi, this is it's Izzo. You're live. What tool are you talking about?
So I've heard it over the radio being advertised. It's a new type of it's not really like pepper spray or a pepper ball, but it acts in the same way. But I think it has like two different mechanisms. You can look it up online. It's really new.
And what's it called?
It's called the Byrna Launcher. I think it's spelled BYRNA Launcher. And they're legal in every single state as long as you're over the age of 18. You can possess it.
Oh, but okay. So this is a pistol, and it's going to be in my opinion, the parents should have had it and they should have fired it at his face. No, this is the same thing as taser, as beanbag rounds. It's less. It's going to fall as an impact weapon. That I would so baton, taser, and beanbag rounds. You don't use less lethal when a lethal force scenario. I would never. I couldn't support that.
Okay. Yeah. I watched the video. I kind of agree. I mean, like you said, the knife is multi-directional, where bullets are very streamlined. And then I also commented on the chat. About the military, they can't fire until they're fired upon, but cops can fire at, just a sign of a threat. And that's where I'm kind of on the
They have to articulate the threat.
Right.
I have no military experience. Yeah. I have zero. I was too much of a pussy to join the military. I have no military experience.
Oh, don't say that. You can be a cop, you can be in the military. But what I'm saying is like with the BB gun scenario is that's where I'm kind of on the fence. I understand eliminating a threat before there is a actual threat, but
well, I don't think it's eliminating a threat before there is one, because then that's subjective. What's a threat? I mean, if I walk up to you with a fist balled, and maybe to you, you're like, it's fucking Izzo, I could take him. But if I walk up to a 4'11" female who thinks she could be a cop, she could pull out a pistol and shoot me because it's a threat to her. So it's subjective.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I agree. When like your example with the female, like I was in the military twice, and though I was in the Air Force and the Navy, but I did work with Navy SEALs, air crew support for Navy SEALs. So we were trained to, shoot alongside of them and everything. And so that's where I know where that's from. I didn't have that experience in the Air Force, of course. I worked on planes. But I don't know, I'm just kind of on the fence with you see something happening and just automatically draw. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I understand. I have no answer. It's the quality. How do I say this?
And I know it's a split-second decision. I mean, absolutely.
You're how long have you been in the military?
So I'm not in anymore. I've been out for over 20 years.
Okay, how long were you in the military?
8 years.
8 years. Is it safe to say you probably had more firearms training than your average cop?
Well, let me ask you this. You were a cop. I wasn't. How often did you have to do firearms training? Once a year? Once every 2 years?
We had I've said this before. If it was required 100% accuracy at the range, I would never be a cop. It was pass or fail. My last year on, because of what we went through in the department, and I blame it on stress, I couldn't even qualify. So, and I never went to the range. So it is not mandatory.
How many rounds did you have to shoot at a target?
I don't remember. I think it was something like 8 at 7 yards. So 8 more at 10, and then the 25 standing and then prone.
Okay, if I remember correctly, I might be mistaken. It's once every 2 or 4 years we had to requalify. You get 44 shots at, I believe, 100 or 150 yards with well, at the time it was M16. Now it's like M4 or something like that. And you had to hit within certain silhouettes. I believe it was 26 or 27 out of 44 to qualify.
My academy mate, he was a Marine, and he shot it looked like a rat's nest, 25 yards standing. And I'm like, the size of all of his rounds into a hole the size of a quarter. I'm like, how are you doing? He goes, this is all we did. So I guess to answer your question, it's going to be based off of standards, and the standards and the qualifications for firearms, let alone anything else. Defensive tactics is a fucking joke. Fitness is a joke. Right. Did you guys have PT in the military?
Did we have what?
Did you guys have PT, physical training, in the military?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
We didn't. No, cops don't.
I mean, you mainly got in boot camp and maybe tech school or A school. Really, like in the Air Force, once you get out of tech school, which you went through boot camp, you went through tech school, there really isn't any PT training. Now, they do physical standard tests once a year.
No, cops don't.
Just to make sure your cardio is okay and your heart rate, all that stuff. I mean, now when I was in the Navy, we trained with the SEALs. Well, I was in the Navy Reserve. I was active Air Force, and then I got out, missed it. 6 months later, I was like, I want to go in the Reserve, so I joined the Navy. And it's a weekend warrior, and then you go 2 weeks a year out to sea or to some training school. But being that I was air crew support for SEALs, we did train with them on that weekend. So, we'd run around with them, pick them up, drop them off. We'd run the beach with them. But, I mean, we didn't do it to the extent they do their stuff.
No, they're just not as well trained. And it is what it is. You guys, the military is far better trained. So I guess that's going to come off to what is subjectively a threat to you versus, me. Because your training, I will guarantee, was superior to mine.
Sure. I mean, the military, if you are in, what would you say, like theater, if you're in theater, like out of the country in a war zone, you're under constant alert. Whereas police aren't. You're cruising around. You get a call. Now you're
Now, okay, so take that too. You're in a car, you're cruising around, you're stopping every 5 minutes to go on your social media and do some lip syncing routine. And then so your head is not in the game. And I've said this. I can't, to this day, I have to tell myself, don't touch your fucking phone when you're driving, because I do not want to be the guy that even for 30 seconds drives down the street, and 3 of those seconds I look and then I hit somebody because I was checking something I could have checked when I parked 15 minutes later down the road, right? But here you have these cops who they look at their phone. And I've always said this. Imagine this. You're on duty, you do some reel, and you have a social media status now. You're officer so-and-so, and everyone loves you, and you do a new reel. This is my lipstick that I got today. Hi, it's Girly Pink. I love it. And then you upload it. Then you get dispatched to a call, right? Do you, if I have a problem and I didn't grow up with social media, checking my phone after I post something like every 10 seconds, whatever, do you not think these people are going to be focused more on the likes and views of their content that they got versus the hot call they're going to? Their head's not going to be in the game. Hell,
okay,
they're going to be going lights and sirens, code, checking their phone, just check just see how many likes did I get? Show up on scene. How can you expect somebody in that state who's more focused online to do de-escalation and or apply deadly force? You can't. You can't.
2 points. I agree with absolutely what you say. 2 points. I've been on 2 ride-alongs. My first one, we're on a public street, 3 lanes. The speed limit's 40. The officer I'm riding with doing 50, and he's texting. There's a stoplight. I didn't say anything. I probably should, but I'm doing the passenger foot brake thing. He looks up, slams on the brake, comes in within inches of slamming into the car in front of him. Second point, to the TikTok or Facebook or whatever, female, male, doesn't matter. If they have their own channel and like you said, they're stopping every 5 minutes to post something online, and then they stop somebody who actually follows them, how serious is that?
Not going to take it
driver
serious.
going to take that cop?
They're not. And then again, too, who's going to get away with it? When we found our body cameras recording us, I was going through all the footage, and I found the female cop we had was going code to a call, lights and sirens, and I watched her because it was her body camera point of view. She's doing 40, 45 miles an hour in a 20-mile-an-hour zone. It's a residential street, and she's driving with her knees while texting with both hands.
Oh, my gosh.
But again, and she was well protected with the department. If she killed someone, how easy do you think it would be for them to just cover everything up? They're not going to admit fault.
So let me ask you a question real quick. I'm really curious. What do you think about qualified immunity?
I don't have an answer because every time I do have an answer for it, I'm unsure. I'm not educated enough on it. I would like what I would like to go to is personal insurance.
Yep.
That if you, just like your driver's license, if you get 3 convictions, you can get 20 tickets, but you need 3 convictions, and especially in the state of Illinois, to have your license suspended. You can get 100 complaints as a cop, but if you get 3 convictions, then your license is suspended. I think it needs to be insurance and licensing instead of certification.
Yeah, I think insurance is the best way to go. Get rid of qualified immunity, but require them to have insurance. And the insurance is so much. Starting out, your first conviction, the insurance it doubles. Second conviction, it triples. Fourth conviction, it quadruples. And
if we're going to do that, then we also need to attack the public, meaning that these demonstrators, they need to be put in their fucking place. They need the de-escalation needs to go. You're going to have to sit there and be heavily trained on lethal force to where these cops actually know what they're doing, how they're doing it. You need to raise your standards on all fronts, but I will never just sit there and just arbitrarily side with either the cop or the citizen without both of them being educated. So I think if we're going to go that route, which I support, we also need to put the onus on citizens. Here's what I would do. If you're going to, let's just say it's $1,000 a month for a cop to keep his insurance and he can't afford it. Well, fine. Then you know what the city's going to do? The city, if this is how this needs to go, if you're a cop, you shoot this autistic kid, and all of a sudden your insurance goes up from like $200 a month to $1,000 a month, you can't afford it. Now the city's like, shit, we're out a good cop. The city should then sue the family of that person who had the deadly force used on them to recover their loss for the officer because they put him in that situation to begin with. I would be all fine for that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Oh, no, yeah, I absolutely agree with that. Absolutely.
Oh.
And I think that another thing is I think the greatest disservice to law enforcement is the amount of time they're trained and what they're trained on. I believe that if they were trained, okay, do all the tactics and everything, but I think that they should be trained a lot more on the law.
Yeah.
On what the actual Constitution says, what the laws are, the laws of the state. I believe that there should be at least a year on law.
It's, I look back on it and it never happened to me. But, if you, I think I know it's now, I think it's 11, ILCS 2512-601B is speeding, I think. I think that's what it is. Yeah, 725. 720. Yeah, what was it? One of the two. Anyways, because there was 625. Maybe that's for ILCS, and then 725 was for the criminal state statutes. But anyways, if you asked me, it's Officer Izzo with the so-and-so police department. The reason I pull you over today is you're doing 35 and a 20. If you had said, hey, what's the state statute for that? I would have gone, I don't think you should pull somebody over unless you can recite the state statute.
I've seen that a lot.
I think it should be.
I watch a lot of these cop watch videos, like Sean Paul Reyes, and like you've mentioned before.
Yeah.
I've actually gone out and done a DUI checkpoint just to record, not interact, just to record. And I was watching them pull people into this parking lot, pulling people aside, and I was sitting there narrating. I was with my son, and I'm sitting there narrating, and there was a bike cop sitting in the driveway getting ready to go after people that were like bypassing, using the turnout before the entry. And one of the cops that was doing the stops was going to walk back to take a break. And I said, hey, can I cross over that way so I can get a better view? And he goes, no. I said, okay, fine. Didn't argue with him, nothing. Well, there's a nursing school just down the street, and there's this black gentleman in his scrubs, and he had a backpack, and he's walking down towards my way, towards that area where I said I wanted to cross. And he was going home, and he walked where I wanted to walk, and I was about maybe 20 feet away from the motorcycle cop, and I said, I wonder why he gets to go over there. I said, oh, maybe because he doesn't have a camera. And the bike cop looked at me and gave me a smirk. So, yeah.
First Amendment auditors are exposing some horrid truths in law enforcement. They really are. Yeah. And it blows me away. I appreciate the conversation. It was fantastic.
Absolutely, Dominic. Thanks. I appreciate it too. You have a good night.
Thank you. All right. Over in the chat, Waylon Perez says, why would the cops, run towards him, the guy with the knife, putting themselves in danger? They should keep their distance as if he had a gun. They wouldn't run at him then because they weren't worried about they feel like a threat. When you have an adrenaline dump or high threat scenario, you get things, auditory exclusion, tunnel vision, and it affects your balance, number one. Because if you ever think about it, I don't know if you've ever been lightheaded or you have been. You ever go up in an airplane and you got your head turns into a cloud and your balance is all off? So it's like a gyroscope. You're going to take your balance off. I don't want cops who have a firearm facing forward walking backwards when they don't have eyes in the back of their head to see what they're backing up, unless they do some type of diamond formation, hand on the shoulder, hey, let's go back this way. I don't want that. Number two, I want cops to close the distance between them and the threat because you get greater accuracy of rounds. The further away, the higher risk that those bullets are not going to hit the target and go hit somebody else. So you're going to have a quicker, more decisive action from the police to terminate life-threatening behavior. They could have they had every lawful authority based on the information they were given and what they observed when they pulled up. Guy matching the description with a knife, big knife in the front yard, people in danger. They didn't have to say shit. Walk right up, start pumping rounds into them. They did not have to stop, open the gate, go in. They terminated life-threatening behavior. It was a lawful shoot. Simply was. 903 says, thank you for supporting correctional officers dealing with an inmate with a shank using nothing but a can of pepper spray and their wits. Rarely a baton. It's a ride for sure. You correctional officers, you do not get the credit you deserve because cops, they dump the pieces of shit off on you and then you go to jail and you are in jail 8, 10, 12 hours a day and you're outnumbered 20, 30, 100 to 1. No, your job is a police officer's job is nothing compared to yours. A cop gets the shit beat out of him in the street. They call Broken Arrow. You get the fucking whole army that shows up and bail them out, right? You guys, yeah, good luck getting through those doors that you got to buzz through. Well, how many inmates are beating the shit out of you with bad intention? Fucking correctional officers are so unappreciated. It's disgusting. 315 says, I didn't get the training in the academy about running from people with knives. I must have missed that day. We don't. You run towards the threat. It's just, it's almost instinctual. That was with me. It was the knife came forward. I went forward. It was just, I can't explain why I did it. Roy Lally, I have a mentally retarded son. I know what his limits are, but no one else does. Should they have more training for this issue? Sure, but a threat is a threat. Object is to go home in one piece. The object is to go home, but the object is also to keep the peace and maintain order in a free society. So you can't ask, you're them to sit there and diagnose your son on scene. I don't think what are they? I mean, shit. What are you going to get the social cues? Oh, his eyes look different, and he's got a big head. And he's got a big tongue. I mean, let's do all the stereotypical mental retardation, not to disrespect you, but to really kind of put a finer point on it. What, he's wearing a beanie hat with a propeller on it, licking the windows, and the cops are supposed to go, oh, that's how we know he's mentally retarded. It's not right. You're asking these cops to make insane decisions in the fucking ass hair of a second. Scott Ertzman, so many deep throaters of the boot in here. We the people forced to pay for this crap. They aren't any different than the 20s and 30s Germans. Okay, well, Scott, that's awesome, man. Appreciate that. M.A. Mad Dad 39. My sister has 4 boys. Two have autism. Man, I have to wonder what's going on with the food. Holy shit. One very high in the scale. When he was 21, he became violent with your brother-in-law. They had to lay him on top of him to keep police from shooting him. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I appreciate it. Lee E. Stupid, dumb, scared cops. See what they want to see. Defund the police. Well, if you defund the police, who's going to gangbang your mother on Thursday nights? Come on, man. Don't do that. You guys have some great comments in the comment section, and I cannot get to all of them. Beauregard, I guess it's true. Nothing good can come from calling the police. I feel the frustration, guys, but it is what it is. Yeah, you guys have some awesome comments, and they don't mirror my statements, and I appreciate that. That's the point, and I love having these conversations, and I love busting your guys' balls too as well. It's meant to actually change cop culture. And you guys are doing a great job. Let's see if anybody else had comment on anything. Yeah, the Anthony the biker. Search up Acorn Cop video. We saw that. 16 hours a day working in the jail. I mean, come on, guys. That's absolutely ridiculous. Do not forget, a couple different channels that we have to support here. Let me pull this up really quickly so you guys can see this. The support you show me, I want you guys to show others, if you will. And you will. And it's as simple as that. The Cop Talk Live, if you're new to this, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We do stream this also, obviously, on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all this. I want you guys to show the same support to Shadow and the Shield. This is a new training series, philosophical teachings and wisdom from retired police captain Carl Anderson. It just started. This is a great series. He's going to be going places with this. I I want you guys to check out Things Police See. This podcast from a current active police officer. Subscribe to this YouTube channel as well. I was just a guest on Steve's podcast yesterday or the day before, and the episode will be released out soon. We have, where are you at? Copville OG, starting with some awesome podcast episodes, and it's building up. So we're just, with 8 episodes. Yeah, go ahead and show some support for this channel as well. And then Sergeant Eric and everybody else from Two Cops, One Donut. Go ahead and give them some love. I know I'm missing some people. We still have Detective Matt Thornton, his channel. Other people on there as well too, but these are people that I support, and I would like to get you to support them as well too. Guys, that's Wednesday night, and I appreciate hanging out with you guys. Go ahead. Again, we want to offer free training for cops and civilians. That's the direction that this is taking. And it's going to require your sponsorship for this. You can go to coptalklive.org, check out our website. You can look at any video that we do. There is a link to sponsoring the channel. You can hit the super chat while we're live over on YouTube, and I appreciate those who have done. I want to contract and hire people out who are in a position to teach. I'd like to sit there and take the people like retired Captain Carl Anderson and get him out there teaching people on stoicism, but I'm not going to ask anybody to wind up donating their time. So we want to get them, we want to get a well-oiled machine out there to teach the public and the police proper training on both tactics, law, you name it, whatsoever. Let's do one more.
And
you're, hello?
Different areas.
Hello?
Versus a small town.
Hey, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Metropolitan area. That their attitudes are a lot different when approaching the public. Do you have any comment on that?
No, because you were talking for the last 30 seconds and I had you muted.
You.
Hello? I would have loved to hear what you said. 805. Hang on. That sounded kind of automated. I'm going to call 805 back and see if you have anything for that. You had a question, but you were muted because I had you on hold.
Hello.
Hi, we had you muted the whole time with your question. I couldn't hear what it was.
Oh yeah. My question was: do you have any comment on police officers that are like, say they're from like I'm from a small town in California, but versus cops in larger metropolitan areas? Do you find that their attitudes are different? When
100%. I say all the time, Chicago police officers are jagoffs. They think they're elitists, superior God gifts to policing. You can look online too at police supporters. They think that NYPD, CPD, and like LAPD are like the only police that are the real police out there. When 85% of the country is municipal or rural, smaller, or even the deputies that have no backup for fucking 2 hours who have to do the job by themselves. So 100%.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
That was my question.
Yeah, you got. I agree with
you.
you. You got it. All right. Yeah, you're live. What's going on?
Hey, man. What's your stance on accountability? Not just for police officers, more for judges and state's attorneys. It's hard for police officers to do their jobs when a lot of the problems coming from the higher ups.
Yeah,
not doing their job.
I'll say this with there's a case out here. Melissa Kaljuzinski, she's sitting in prison for committing a murder. She threw a toddler on the ground in 2009 and crushed his head, and she's serving 32 years in prison for it. And the thing is, she didn't do it. There's an insane amount of medical evidence that proves that she didn't. You know, I'm extremely passionate about this particular case. You know, I talk about the fact that my chief bullied her for 9 hours without a phone call or a bathroom break, and she had a verbal IQ of 70, and they forced her to confess to the crime just because she thought she was going home. Yeah. And the people, the judges on the case, the investigators on the case, the prosecutors on the case, they're all in cahoots with each other. There is proof. There is legitimate proof that the state's attorney from Lake County State's attorney at the time gave manipulated files to the defense so that the defense could not properly evaluate the the x-rays of the kid. In other words, they got a reverse value negative, and the prosecution says, well, that's what we got. Well, you fast forward from 2009 till now, and there are people who are experts in this case saying, no, these files were purposely manipulated. And the only people who had them were the state prosecutors. So I think we should line them up and fucking execute them. See, my ultimate view, here's my view on accountability. You want police culture to change anytime it is proven that a judge, a district or state's attorney, prosecutor, a police officer on any level whatsoever violates somebody's civil rights knowingly, death penalty. It needs to be this. It's treason. It's fucking treason. They need to be given the death penalty. And until we see that coming, I see no change in any culture at all.
Exactly. It's hard for the citizens to change the way they need to when the other side isn't changing the way they need to as well.
Right.
And the cops in the middle, they're the ones that have to take all of it. And that ain't fair on them. And it's hard for them to be able to do their job.
It is.
And
it's
especially
very
judges,
difficult.
even if someone does get like a petty theft, someone goes to the store, steals, half the time the state's attorney, because I used to manage a store, and that's half the time I couldn't get anyone because the state's attorney wouldn't prosecute it. So people could just steal all day and steal all day.
Well, then what did they raise?
If they do get caught, the judge just gives a daytime served and go back to do it again.
Yeah, what do we have? We had
And
the threshold for felony went from like $150 when I was first on, now $1,000. No, I appreciate that. I appreciate the call. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Have a good one.
Yeah, you're live. What's going on?
My name is Bill Clinton, and I'm the President of the United States of America. I'm here to tell you I really like your cop show, and I do have a question. My cousin, he became a cop. They told him he's got to dumb down his IQ test when he takes it. What do you think about all that?
I didn't vote for you because I was too young at the time, but I remember you playing saxophone on Arsenio Hall.
Oh,
let me ask you a question. Hey, wait, now Monica Lewinsky or then Monica Lewinsky?
I don't know. Has she transitioned yet?
No, she's fucking hot now. She looks good now. She really does. Hey, what were you doing? Hey, wait. What's going on with the blue dress that Epstein had in his office?
Oh, let's not talk about that right now.
Jeez. Who's going to lead your party now that you guys have no front runner for the next election?
Oh, it's terrible, man. It's goddamn. There used to be a Democrat party, and there's not now.
No, and the Democrats, they're not the same as what they were. I'm so tired of politics. I think both sides are so fucked. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. It's Magna Coulter. It's
I am as close to being libertarian as I can. I don't care what you do, what you identify as. Don't force it down my throat. Yes, people who support MAGA are just as cultish as the liberal left. They are. It's insane.
Hey, brother, I have a question. I speak to a lot of police, and a lot of them seem to feel like the drug laws need to be opened up. What kind of problems does that cause for you?
A lot of them think that what? You broke up.
The drug laws need to be
opened
up.
How I phrased it was, I had to be very careful about this because I didn't know enough about it. I don't believe in legalizing drugs, but I believe in decriminalizing them. So, and I'll tell you a personal experience I just had on my birthday in March. I had arrested 9 people for DUI with cannabis in their system in my one of my last years on. And for a long time, I felt really guilty, right? I felt guilty because I'm like, man, I've never seen anyone do anything violent on cannabis. Never at all. But I had a gummy on my birthday. And if you asked me to drive, I would, no fucking way. No fucking way. I was like, this is insane. Now, that's that. But I remember hearing for the first time at a press conference, Sheriff Grady Judd said, that he believes in criminalizing marijuana because every person he has ever interviewed that has smoked marijuana has admitted they have gone to another drug. So it's by his default divine wisdom that clearly, without question, marijuana is the gateway drug. And my question to him in the comments, which of course wasn't answered, was, did you ever interview how many of them have had a beer? So I don't because of that logic, I can't get behind decriminalizing it because there's certain things that I don't agree with based on the experience I just had. No, man, I don't think you should be consuming cannabis and drinking and operating a car. But again, too, right. I think any level of drinking and driving today, in today's day and age, should be death penalty. There is zero excuse. No one has any value on their life who drinks and drives. It could be my family member. I don't care. You have no fucking value as a human being. That's how much I have contempt for it. But as far as everything else, recreational use, me personally, I don't give a shit about a person buying a bag of heroin, going home and shooting up. Not my business. Who are they hurt? They're hurting themselves. Not my fucking problem. Not my problem at all. You want to stop me from how much fucking McDonald's I eat and I'm probably clogging my arteries? When you have that type of caring, then so my personal view, when I first got on, I'll never forget my first weed arrest. It was like I was salivating like a dog with a bone. Oh, because oh my God, it's a weed. I got a baggie of weed. I was like, looking back on it, I'm like, it's a fucking bag of weed, dude. But then you get older, and so you get a bag of weed. Well, that's what sewers are for. You know, I'm not gonna arrest you. I'm gonna ruin your fucking day and throw it down a sewer. Get out of here. So yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Well, and I've thought about this as far as the DUI, and you seem to talk about it in every video. I don't know if you've just seen that happen or you've had it happen to someone close to you. I've got a cousin who almost died from a drunk driver. So I have thought about this. Should there be some sort of amnesty program or lower level offense if you give someone who ends up drinking and driving, force them to put flashing lights on their car, reflective stickers, some kind of siren.
No, the drinking and driving, it's a fucking money game. I don't have any leeway with drinking and driving whatsoever. They're not an ounce of it. I grew up with mad Mothers Against Drunk Driving. Didn't make a fucking bit of difference. It's 2025. There is Uber, there is Lyft, there is taxi cabs. There's a cell phone. You can call anybody you want. You can fucking walk, right? It blows me away. And cops are the biggest offenders of drinking and driving because they think they fucking get away with it. And they do. Professional courtesy all the time. That being said, you have car manufacturers. Driving is not a right, it's a privilege. Why don't we have breathalyzers in every single car in the fucking country?
Well, they should. I've thought about that too.
Yeah.
And they should. We have to have backup cameras.
You should have absorption, some type of sensory absorption in the steering wheel. You sense any alcohol coming through the skin or the breath, like a breathalyzer, a nonstop breathalyzer that's built into the steering wheel. Because maybe you as the passenger could blow into it for me, but I'm the driver, so you want me breathing as the vehicle is going and moving, and if it senses any alcohol, they could do that, but why don't they? And it's a money game too. How old are you?
I'm too old, man. I'm in my 40s.
Okay, so I don't know if you remember. Used to be when we went to the bar years ago, right? You go out to the bar every Thursday night. It's ladies' night at Dakota's, this and that, and you didn't see Johnny for a while. You didn't know Johnny very well, but Johnny would come in every Thursday. He was just a cool guy. Hey, what's up? You said high five. You did a shot with him, and then 6 months later, you see Johnny like, dude, where have you been? And he goes, I got a DUI. And he was real quiet about it, right? I started to notice the last 10, 15 years, people openly talk. Well, when I got my second DUI, they don't care anymore. There is no fucking shame in people. No, I honestly think, and I've said it and I stand by it, and I do have people I care about who have drunk and drive. No person who drinks and drives has any fucking redeeming quality. And it's a very, very, very hard issue for me to swallow when I have loved ones who I know have done it.
Well, hey, you heard about the old boy in Texas? He got his 9th DWI within a certain time frame.
Blame the state.
Got life in prison.
Good.
Well, no parole, from what I understand.
Yeah, good. There you go. I appreciate the call, man.
Hey, you too, brother. Have a good
Thank
one.
you. You too. All right, guys. A couple different questions. What was my PC to stop them? Lane change, speeding, failed to use this turn signal. It was probable cause of moving violation. Creatine Connor says that's communism. Hell no. For breathalyzer in there, I couldn't give rat fuck if you think that's common. It's not a right to drive a car. It's a privilege. You got to take a vision test. You really have such a hard time with people blowing into something to start a vehicle that could fucking kill your family. I think you need to up your creatine and grow some fucking testosterone. Unbelievable. Is the podcast a rants of it? And probably, I don't know. We'll see about that one. Guys, no. The DUIs, the drinking and driving, you will never get a fucking any ounce of leniency out of me. Will not get it whatsoever. Guys, that's that. Bev, you're 47 tomorrow. Happy pre-birthday. Holy shit. We're all old. 50. What the hell is I doing? Support Cop Talk Live. There's so many ways you could do it. You could buy my book, Before the Badge, Everything You Need to Know Before You Become a Cop, forwarded by Sheriff Joe Arpaio, available at Barnes & Noble, wordsmatterpublishing.com, and Amazon. Click the link of any of our videos or podcasts and support the channel. It'll take you right to PayPal, Cop Talk Live. You can hit the Super Chat button if you're on Facebook or Instagram, whatever, YouTube. You can support us. I want to start providing free training to cops and citizens to change this culture, to get the two sides sitting at a table and having conversation. And that's the way we want to go with this. That's the purpose of Cop Talk Live and changing cop culture. We do this every Wednesday night live, 9 p.m. Eastern. That's 8 Central, 7 Pacific, and 6 Mountain. And we go 7 Mountain, 6 Pacific, and we go as long as we need. You know, it was a wonderful 90 minutes tonight. Sometimes we've gone 2 hours plus, but it is what it is. And I like to bring guests on as well too. Guys, comment in the comment section what you think. Share these videos. Subscribe if you're new. And don't forget to check out coptalklive.org. And let's change cop culture together. You guys have a great damn night and be safe out there.